Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and today I'm providing a channel update about some of the upcoming games of 2020 that I'm looking forward to playing and adding to the channel. But before we dive into those, I want to provide a quick recap of our channel, since our last channel update video was about a month ago when we had less than 500 subscribers, and fast forward to today, we have grown tenfold in size, and this honestly has been all made possible thanks to each one of you who share your time with me here on the channel. And since the inception of the channel, I have focused heavily on the game Total War 3 Kingdoms, since it was the game that first inspired me to create a YouTube channel in the first place, roughly a year ago. So it will always have an outsized place on the channel, and we will continue to have daily uploads of different Let's Play campaigns for various factions in the game, as well as guide and lore videos covering the Three Kingdoms period. But a few months after Three Kingdoms launch, Creative Assembly also announced Total War Troy, and I took the opportunity to revisit an old favorite of mine in Assassin's Creed Odyssey as the first new game to be added to the channel, as it allows us to revisit the ancient Greek world before the launch of Troy. And since then, we have been on this fantastic Odyssey for a total of 225 episodes, and I'm happy to announce that we have finally completed the game in its entirety today. And after the addition of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I also decided to add Chinese parents to our channel, as it was always a cute and fun meme game that I wanted to play since it was released in 2018. And I hope the choice of this game shows you that our channel is not exclusively about just Total War games or AAA titles from major developers. It has always been my belief that gaming should be fun. So as a gaming content producer, I will continue to showcase games that I personally enjoy on this channel, and I believe that will also allow me to create the best content for everyone. Now, I do realize that everyone have different tastes, and I can easily tell from the views that some games are just more popular than others on our channel, and that's totally fine with me, as every single video has played a part in our channel's growth, and as a YouTuber, I put a ton of videos out, and I don't expect you to watch all of them. So watch the ones you enjoy, or try a few from a different game. Who knows, your taste might be similar to mine. And sometimes you guys end up recommending great games for me to play as well, as is the case with Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, which we added to the channel when it was released in early access back in April. While it was a great game, it is also still in early access, so we have taken a break from it for now, as we await for the developers to finish the game a bit more before we jump back in. And that brings us to today, as we finally have completed our Odyssey after the grand total of 225 episodes. So let's now take a look at 5 upcoming games in 2020 that I'm most looking forward to playing and adding to the channel. And the format that we're going to be using here is that I will be playing the trailers for each of these games one at a time, with a small break in between where I'll spend a little bit of time talking about the games themselves. So let's jump into the first one here.
What have you done? He's taken her! He's taken my wife! You've risked the safety of Troy. She must go back to her home.
You will condemn me to my death. Troy is my home now.
You have my oath, brother. She will be returned to you.
Call Troy your home then.
Brother, I can fight!
Go. Seek shelter. There'll be plenty of fighting ahead.
Now, I'm sure most of you have seen this trailer already, but I haven't talked much about Total War Troy on the channel, mainly because I have not personally had a chance to play the game, but from what I have seen so far from some of the press footages and other reviews, I have a pretty good idea of what the game will end up looking like, so let's talk about it. First off, Total War Troy is part of the Total War Saga collection, which means it is made by a smaller development team with the intent to try out new features for future Total War titles. And since the development team is smaller, Total War Troy is going to be reusing the Warhammer game engine, which is why all the UI in the game look exactly like Warhammer. And the battles will play out closer to Warhammer than Three Kingdom, except instead of fantasy creatures battling it out, it will be Bronze Age infantry with a splash of the truth behind the myth legendary units like the Cyclops and the Minotaur waging battle during the Trojan War. Faction leaders will also function like lords from Warhammer, except they will be able to duel much like in Three Kingdoms. Early reviews of the battle system is rather negative, but luckily battles are only half the game for Total War games, and what interests me the most for this title is the radical changes to the economy, namely, this will be the first Total War game that does not use currency, as we are now in the Bronze Age, so the economy system in Troy will run instead on 5 resources. That includes food, wood, stone, bronze, and gold. And all 5 of these resources will be needed to recruit units, pay unit upkeep, build buildings, pray to the gods, and to trade in diplomacy. And speaking of diplomacy, Troy is going to be using the Three Kingdoms diplomacy engine, which is definitely the best in the series, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And as someone who enjoys the history behind the game and someone who enjoys managing commanderies and making shrewd diplomatic deals in Three Kingdoms, I am very much looking forward to Troy's launch on August 13th, and I'll probably be playing the game in early access right before launch. And there is the whole uproar about the 1-year exclusivity with the Epic Game Store, but I'm not really going to dive any deeper about that. Let's just remember that this game will be free to keep in the first 24 hours post-launch on Epic Game Store, so definitely remember to grab your free copy on launch day. And that's all I have to say for Troy, so let's move on to our next game.
V, my man, you made it. You blowing up all over the news. Are you alone?
I just want the money.
You got the chip? All right, start her up, Bug. Why don't you go to the bathroom, wash up, we gonna be with you in a minute.
What?
Oh, come on, man. Your neck, it's a mess.
While hotel security has yet to comment, we do know the suspect seems to have fled the scene.
Initiating combat mode.
Go!
Destination confirmed.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Alright, in and out, bitches! We're rich! Oh, we are going to the major leagues, Jackie! Jack? Oh, shit!
No. Okay, get to a clinic, now.
Mr. Wells' condition is critical.
Go!
Immediate medical
It's gonna
help
be
is
okay,
required.
just hold on. Hey, just think about all the good shit we're gonna have, huh?
I'm sorry. take the fucking chip decks.
Every corporal cop in this city's gonna be blasting down these doors after what you and your psycho friend did. We didn't need all this cocksucking attention, damn it.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Alrighty, so Cyberpunk 2077. This is actually the first game that I wanted to add to the channel. Its original release date was April 16th, 2020, but it was delayed till September 17th, and news came out yesterday that it has actually been delayed yet again until November 19th. So hopefully we will see this game released this year. The good news here is that there will be an update from the developers on June 25th, which is less than a week away from the release of this video, and press copies for the reviews have already been sent out as the game is largely finished, but the developers simply want more time to discover and fix any potential bugs with a game of this scale. So for those of you who have never heard about this game, Cyberpunk 2077 is made by CD Projekt Red, which also made the Witcher's franchise. And Cyberpunk is a tabletop IP that was created in 1988 as a science fiction fantasy alternative to Dungeons & Dragons, and it is now being made into this open world action RPG. Now, I'm going to keep this one brief, as I'm definitely keeping an eye out for the developer update later this week when more news and potential game footage will come out, as the latest game footage is more than a year old, and depending on what ends up being shown on the 25th, I'll probably end up making another video to discuss it then. So let's actually move on to the next game here.
They are heartless. Godless barbarians. They murder and kill blindly. They scar the lands of England. Lands they will never defend, never love. The time has come to speak to them in a language they will understand.
Somebody tell me. I'm sorry if you can. Oh, somebody tell me. Shield!
And this one should also be no surprise, as we have just spent 225 episodes playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so we will definitely be playing Valhalla when it launches later this year. This game is hailed as the end of the trilogy for Origins and Odyssey, which are the last two Assassin's Creed games and the first two to depart from the stealth genre of the older games to a more open world action RPG style, with some stealth elements. Now, with the setting of this game, I'm gonna assume the stealth elements would decrease even farther, as we are now a Viking warrior determined to migrate his or her people to the lush green rolling hills of 9th century England. And like most game I'm interested in, there will be a lot of historical elements to this game, as we get to deal with many of the smaller kingdoms that populated England at this time, as well as the opportunity to explore some of the ruins left behind by the Romans. And of course, it would not be an Assassin's Creed game without some futuristic fantasy and religious crossover. So we're probably going to get to see the interplay between Norse mythology elements of the Viking faith, the pagan beliefs of England, and Christianity, which will hopefully connect us right back to the very first Assassin's Creed game, which featured the Crusades. So there's a lot to look forward to at the end of the year, and I'm ready for another 200 episodes. But before then, we have two other games to check out, so let's continue. Now, to be honest, Evil Genius 2 was not on my radar until last week, as I did not play Evil Genius 1 or even knew this game existed, as it was made back in 2004. But when I saw this trailer, I immediately fell in love with the look of the game. It seems to be a cute and memey simulation building game with some strategic elements as you play an evil genius trying to take over the world. I've always been a fan of building simulation games, and that is why I enjoy making commandery guides, and many subscribers have also recommended games like RimWorld to me. But since I'm slightly hesitant about adding older titles to the channel, I feel this would be the perfect game for the channel since it has all the elements of a building simulation, but carries a lighter tone similar to that of Chinese Parents. And with that said, let's move on to our final trailer here.
Ronnie O'Neill. He's been a thorn in my side. And now he says he wants to cut a deal. He doesn't know what's coming. But first, let's go back to the beginning. A week ago, I got into Chicago. And as soon as I did, I started handing out my calling card. It wasn't long before I was building an empire and making contacts. I had a few ups and downs along the way. Eddie and Marie fell in love and ran off. And sure, Tammy's the best shot in town. If she doesn't show up drunk, that is. And Jack? No one would mess with Jack. Old Ronnie didn't take too well to my way of doing business. Now he thinks he's got me pegged. He ain't got nothing. What he doesn't know is I've been making deals all around town, and I got just enough cops to look the other way. Those who work with me are afraid of nothing. I almost feel bad for the guy. He's just a step on my way to the top. But if it wasn't me taking him down, it'd be somebody else. Think you got what it takes? Come and get it.
So, we finally have a game made by Paradox featured here on the channel. Now, Paradox games like Heart of Iron, Europa, and Crusader Kings are immensely popular, and even when the channel had only 40 subscribers, I remember someone recommending them to me. Well, I do play some of these games myself. I do find their numbered DLCs a bit overwhelming, and since these are also older titles, I shied away from playing them on the channel. But this game is quite different, as it's a bit smaller in scope and focuses more narrowly on a single point in history, which allows it to go deeper into the historical events surrounding Chicago in 1920s, when Prohibition was in full swing. And in this game, you get to play as various mobsters or important characters during this period in Chicago, like Al Capone, as you try to take over the underworld, either through careful negotiations or turn-based XCOM-like combat with your select group of mobsters. And since it is a Paradox game, I'm certain it will have a nice quality of features and attention to detail that we find in many of their other games, while preserving some strategic elements to challenge the players. So I'm quite excited for this one whenever it ends up being released later this year. And this wraps up all the trailers we have, but this does not mean that we will not be adding other games to the channel, as if we learned anything in 2020 is that things are going to change, and the best we can do is to adapt. So thank you all for watching this channel update, and thank you all for your continued support for the channel. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, as if we reach over 8,000 subscribers, I would have a chance to gain even earlier access for future Total War games, including the upcoming Numman DLC, which I'm also super pumped for. So definitely help me out and subscribe if you enjoy our content. And with that said, thank you all for watching, and see you all next time. Bye!